Hi, we're talking about wildfires this week. In 2007, Smokey the Bear reported that 12,261 fires were caused by lightning. Did you know that, Kelly?
That is not appropriate.
If you thought that was bad, guess what? 73,446 wildfires were caused by human error.
And that's embarrassing. I mean, someone has to take some charge somewhere. We're going to talk about how to do that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Anyway, wildfires. You might wonder, what is a wildfire exactly? Well,
yeah, what is a wildfire?
I'll tell you. Smokey the Bear gave us a little quote.
Oh, okay.
He says, wildfire is any unwanted, unplanned, damaging fire burning in forest shrub or grass, and is one of the most powerful natural forces known to people. Some people might not like to consider fires as a natural hazard, but what we've learned is they are. Human error causes many fires, but yet nature itself starts many fires too.
And fuels them.
It does. It keeps them burning and going and spreading, so it's important to consider this a disaster. There's something about fire that I wonder, that I don't know much about. Jamie, I think I heard you know about.
You heard that?
I did. I heard that Jamie knows about how fires, the process that keeps them going.
Kelly, you know what? You're in luck because I do know that. You know, when you're thinking about fires, the main thing to remember is the fire triangle. Let me just show you right here.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
First, right here, we have our triangle. And at the base and the support of a fire is the heat.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Keep going, please.
It is responsible for igniting the fire and sustaining it. Also, next would be the fuel. Goes right over here. And that combines with oxygen. Now, fuel can be anything that fuels a fire. That's what fuel is. And oxygen, a fire has required 16% oxygen when dealing with fire. And these two together cause the combustion, which fuels the fire. And that process is called oxidation. So this is how and what goes on when you're dealing with wildfire.
That can help us when we want to learn to be resilient to a fire.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. How can you prevent wildfires from maybe burning your home or even you personally starting a wildfire that takes over all of California?
I would not want the conscience of someone who's started a fire.
Talk about the first steps of prevention. First of all, as always, is being aware.
And prepare.
Yes, being aware and prepare. You want to know if you're in a drought. You need to pay attention to if you're in a drought. Sometimes it can be called a burn ban that you can look out for on your news, or if you don't know, I'm sure you can ask a local firefighter and they can educate you.
They would be glad to tell you.
Yeah. Good to know. Next is wind patterns. A drought and wind combined is bad news, people, because that's how wildfires, obviously, there's oxygen and wind, and it spreads a lot faster because of that wind just pushing it on through.
And you know, forest fires are main concerns when it comes to fires because it just has so much
to burn.
Right.
Fuel.
Or homes even can be one thing that fires can overtake and just keep running on for days.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned homes because in forests, that's something you have to be aware of. You want to leave a 30-foot zone that you want to make sure stays nice and wet around your house, if that's by watering, especially if you're in a forestry area.
Or during a drought time.
Both, yeah. And another thing is to be really aware if when you're doing a lawnmower, maybe, or any other kind of ignition type things that can cause a spark. Something as simple and as harmless as mowing your lawn could cause a wildfire. We have a special shout out for you smokers out there. Yes, not only is it a bad habit, it's bad for your lungs, it's bad for you, it's bad for everyone breathing your secondhand smoke. It's expensive, But a lot forest fires are caused because careless smokers just throw it out. Yep, they just throw out that bud. Bam, wildfire. Another thing outside of the home may be vacation, such as camping. Kelly, you're a camper.
Love to camp. I didn't grow up camping. My parents like to stay in hotels. But I have been with friends camping, and it's a blast. Dream come true. I could camp a lot. But what I like about camping is you're outside and you can breathe the fresh air. You laugh, but it's what I love. But it would be so sad if I was camping and someone careless didn't start a proper fire and it caused my camping trip
to be ruined. Up in flames, to say.
Yes. It would be bad. But anyway, there's certain protocols you need to be aware of when preparing a fire, even the camping site. You would think, oh, outdoors fires are fine. Not so much.
No. The first thing, when you're going camping is to pick your spot wisely. Where are you going to put that camper or tent if you're a real outdoorsman? That's main is where you put your stuff, your equipment. The second, and probably even more important than the first, is where you put your campfire. Now, some places do not have designated fire pits, and you need to know if they do or not. And if they don't, you need to put your fire approximately 15 feet away
from any object.
Downwind,
is that right?
Yeah, it needs to be downwind. You need to make sure your fire pit is secure, surrounded with maybe rocks or something to help contain a small fire. And you also need to make sure you have a bucket of water nearby or a shovel to help put it out. Isn't there a rule when having to do with fires, leaving them behind?
Yes, and you never want to, just walk away from a fire. You always want to be responsible and put it out. So what you do, if it's still hot to the touch, it's not okay to leave.
Too hot to touch, too hot to leave. That's what Smokey always says.
Exactly.
So we get wildfires. How do we get rid of wildfire? There are so many people that are dedicated to putting out fires, such as fire managers. There are hand crews, hotshot crews, hill attack crews, smoke jumpers.
Which I personally loved reading about.
Smoke jumpers.
Watching footage of. They're so dedicated.
Great people.
Couldn't do it.
And engine crews. And all of these people are dedicated to fighting fires, wildfires, whether it be from using water to put them out, from flying in a helicopter and dumping water on the situation, really just
shoveling dirt.
Yeah, you can shovel
on that area.
Yeah, smoke jumpers jump into the area. They parachute there, and there's just all sorts of different kinds of people who fight fires, and we thank you. These people, they are the heart of the solutions. They also have some tools that they use.
They do. They get the job done, and they do that with bulldozers and tractor plows, air tankers, helicopters. Smoke jumpers use helicopters. Bambi buckets.
Yeah, that's a bucket with a sling from a helicopter. That's how they dump the water on.
A Pulaski.
A Pulaski?
Yes, but a Pulaski, let me just read a little bit more about that. It's a chopping and trenching tool. Also, a fire-resistant pants and clothing. That's very important. A drip torch also is a great tool. Fire shelters are places that can prevent, much damage from taking place to people. And fire lines.
Just really great things to keep in mind when you are thinking about wildfires.
Action. Wildfires, they get so hot, but when the wind blows, they spread a lot. The way they start, there's so many ways. Lightning is natural, but careless people start this blaze. Everywhere you look, the land looks black. Did you start this fire? You must be whack. So learn your stuff to prevent the flame. Smokey the Bear, remember my name. Only you can prevent forest fires.
Well, Kelly, I think we've had another great week learning. This week was about wildfires, and I hope you go out and you remember it.
It could be life or death situation. Fire, they'll remember, how to be safe.
The key is to be aware.
And prepared.
Yeah.